Our next game, the Texans with a massive, massive win over the Colts in this one, Jay. Things are starting to spiral a little bit. Sauce Gardner hurt. Daniel Jones clearly playing hurt.
By the way, there's no takeaway. There's no takeaway from the Rams. Like, it's just a bad day at the office.
Yeah,
by the way, we moved off that quickly.
Catches touchdowns in his sleep. On we go.
Puka Nacua had the catch of the year for about 4 hours.
Yep, and we'll get to the other catch of the year. Don't worry, but not yet.
Yeah. This is a good question. Art Vandelay, latex? Art Vandelay
latex salesman.
Yeah, that's a good point. Well done, Vandelay Industries. Can't wait for Jay to turn to the excuser when reflecting on the Colts game, or does he jump over to the Jags? It's a good question, Jay. Yeah. Your loyalty for the ones will be tested here. You have previously been a Colts man. You were for the shoe, but this has been a tough run here for your Colts.
No, I'm sticking chubby with the Colts. No, I don't like the Jags. This team's not that good. They're the 15th best team in football.
You like the Bears. They're the number 1 seed in the NFC.
I don't like the Bears. That's I'm a Packers man. I'm a Jordan Love man. Jordan Love's been in my stable for a long time.
Yeah,
this is like the high point. Could be the 1 seed, Jordan Love.
Yeah.
So here's the takeaway for the Colts. So I will be the excuser because I came away, and it's going to sound strange because they lost as 3-point favorites, and now they're in trouble for the division, but I was encouraged by how Daniel Jones looked, because the way this season was going to completely fall apart for Indianapolis was if Jones was just a zero and he couldn't move. He wasn't the problem yesterday. No. Jones, the thing is that he's not running. There was no scrambling at all. They worried enough about his leg that they brought in Tyler Warren to do the 4th down sneak, which he promptly fumbled. But I thought Jones throwing the ball against what is maybe the best defense in football, I thought he was fine. The Colts lost the game because they didn't have any pass rush. But they were in position enough on offense to win that game. It's just they shot themselves in the foot repeatedly. But Jones looked okay, and that's the main thing. Their offensive line has kind of fallen off a cliff the past month, and that's become an issue. But for the most part, I think fantasy-wise, Alec Pierce is clearly the guy that you want in this receiver room. Tyler Warren will have better days. He was questionable with an illness. He just didn't look right. Michael Pittman is the concern, where if this isn't going to be the best offense in football, super explosive, then maybe, Matthew, there's not enough turkey to go around to satisfy all three of Pierce, Warren and Pittman, not to speak of Josh Downs as well.
Yeah, right. 3rd straight game with under 30 receiving yards. In games in which Michael Pittman does not score a touchdown this year, he's averaging 7.7 fantasy points per game. It's so weird because previously Michael Pittman in previous years was just sort of a floor guy who would always get a bunch of targets but just, wasn't a big touchdown scorer. This year, he's been a big touchdown scorer, but then when he's not getting the volume that we've seen previously with Pittman as well. It's weird. We always say this about this guy's a touchdown-dependent tight end. Michael Pittman is a touchdown-dependent wide receiver. So it's just sort of on a weekly basis, how lucky do you feel? Because as we enter Monday Night Football, Michael Pittman is wide receiver 81 this week. Again, he's averaging under 8 fantasy points a game in games in which he doesn't score a touchdown. 3rd straight game with under 30 yards. Daniel Jones now, 4th straight game with under 17 fantasy points since week 9. He's QB 17 on a points per game basis. I think what this game did, and admittedly, they're playing the Texans, which is as good a defense as there is in the NFL. So you sort of write it away a little bit. But again, we haven't seen it. Jonathan Taylor's 2nd straight game that they can't really get him going, which is concern. But I feel like moving forward, now they play Jacksonville. They're on the road at Jacksonville, which has been a problem area for them. The Colts have struggled on the road at Jacksonville, even in years in which Jacksonville was terrible and the Colts were decent. Like, they always lose at Jacksonville, it feels like. This is a huge game in Week 14. They got a Week 18 game at these Texans again. But Jags in 2 of the next 4, you see it there on your screen. Week 15 at the Seahawks. Week 16 home to the Niners. This schedule is not favorable. It's a challenging here. All I was going to say is moving forward, I think you're starting Jonathan Taylor every week, obviously. You're starting Tyler Warren every week. I do think Pierce has made himself a rock-solid wide receiver 3.
Yep.
But the rest, I think it sort of depends on who else you have in the matchup. I think Pittman has gone from must-start to let's see what the matchup is and what else you have.
Yep. We'll see. This Sunday's going to be super interesting against the Jags. The week after at Seattle is brutal. I think you feel really good about the Colts home to San Francisco and home to the Jags in 16 and 17. And then week 18 at the Texans, potentially for the division, will be massive. But, yeah, we'll see with Indianapolis. They were completely screwed by the refs in this one, too. Delay a game followed by phantom PI on Kenny Moore. If the refs are doing their jobs, the Colts probably win. So we move forward.
The excuse.
That was a disgrace.
It was, I have to say.
It was 2 seconds past the delay game, and then there was no PI. I didn't even touch him.
No, I know. The refs had a bad day at the office. There's no question in this one. And then the extra point, I think, was questionable there as well.
It's been a bad
the
year.
refs definitely had a very tough game in the Texans-Colts games. Cris Sims specifically called them out on Football Night in America.
That's why I like Cris Sims.
There you go. But on the Houston side of the ball here, Nico Collins suddenly starting to become that wide receiver one that we thought he was going to be, that we drafted him to be. Gets a rushing touchdown here. Stroud looked better. They got the ball. Tough loss for Sauce Gardner there for the Colts on the Colts side of the ball. Losing Sauce here. But, Connor, what did you see out of this run game here? Woody Marks, third straight game with 17 touches, but so he continues to get work and continues not to produce.
Right, it's volume-based, is this run game. The line's just still not very good. Stroud, after the interception, was really good yesterday. He was more short area surgical, as we would call it, which helps Nico Collins because Nico can hit the big play, but he could also eat you up underneath. But the run game is just not spectacular. It's more of they lean on it to be honest with their offense, but you don't get explosive runs. It's just all volume yardage and no touchdowns.
Woody Marks left this game briefly with an injury and then ended up coming back here. The crazy part to me is that he has a 3% target share. Woody Marks was supposed to be the pass-catching running back, and they're just not using him in the passing game as well. He hasn't had a double-digit target share since week 8. He's got only 3 games for the year with 70 or more scrimmage yards. Nick Chubb, the original Chubb, the big Chubb, gets he gets in, he got into the end zone, so he cashes in there. It's just I think the Texans are other than Nico Collins, I'd argue the best fantasy asset on the Texans is their defense. Is their defense. It's like when you start, for leagues that play a defense.
Dalton Schultz is the other guy that Stroud, has.
You usually have a floor with Schultz.
Yeah.
Like if you need 9 points at tight end, he could usually get you the 9 points.
I feel like I know exactly what CJ Stroud is now too. He's like rich man's Trevor Lawrence. Like he's always going to have that one crazy pick. Like the pick was awful yesterday, just sailed for no reason. But other than that, very solid, good. He's an above-average quarterback who's not in the top tier.
I think we're going to look in 2 years, and I think C.J. Stroud and Bryce Young are going to be much closer together.
I don't know that.
Bryce Young had a nice game. Again, 15 to 20.
I'm old enough to remember what Bryce Young did on Monday Night Football in San Francisco.
I get it. I'm just saying. I think that if you were redrafting for the NFL today, you'd take Stroud over Young. But I think the gap between them is much closer than it was looking like in the first 6 games of their rookie season.
It's not an embarrassing gap.
That's right.
It once was. By the way, producer Steven tried to start a Duval chant in the chat, and Cobra Kiger just tagged him and said, Jags stink.
Yeah, I mean, exactly.
I'd love the Colts to win on Sunday.
A lot of accusations that you have traffic court today. Multiple accusations.
So a little inside baseball. After this, Matthew and I are going to film a little commercial for DraftKings for Texans Chiefs Sunday Night Football. I'll be dressed like this professionally. Matthew's going to wear a Bijan Robinson jersey for the Chiefs.
We don't know why either. They lost yesterday.
He was the greatest fantasy performer on Sunday. A.J. Brown had the most fantasy points this week, but Bijan Robinson finally got in the end zone. Bijan Robinson had a great fantasy day on Mondays, especially on Mondays when my Commanders don't win. Hey, it's Matthew Berry from NBCSports.com and Rotoworld.com, and I want to thank you so much for watching whatever it is you just watched, or if nothing else, being too lazy to click out of the autoplay after this video started, after whatever it is you actually wanted to watch finished. But now that you're here, I'd like to take a moment here to ask you respectfully now, okay? I'm asking you respectfully to subscribe to the NFL on NBC YouTube channel. You'll get the latest Roto-World fantasy news headlines, all sorts of great shows, including my own Fantasy Football Happy Hour. So go subscribe now. Again, I'm asking respectfully.